welcome back to Flow State Reactions. I am Starry, and I am here yet again to react to The Lord of the Rings, and this is the behind-the-scene appendices for Return of the King, and we are now on Music for Middle-earth. I just finished watching the editorial one, which just had me just cracking up, really. I was just so delighted to see them pretending like that. That was so fun. You know, one thing about these appendices is that you get to see just how much fun these adults are having behind the scenes. Like, it must have just been like a dream come true, like work experience, you know what I'm saying? Because the absolute sense of wonder that they have and just joy, it just leaps off the screen. It really does. And like I said before, it makes me feel like I'm a part of it. For whatever reason, I literally feel like I'm a part of the crew. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get into this video. Thank you for joining me. Everybody relax and let's flow. Here we go. Music for Middle-earth. Gollum song. Dang, 2002. Oh my God. I keep saying 20 years ago. It's like 25 years now, right?
Towers, you know, Howard had
Hi, Peter. I can hear your voice.
Himself into the ground, as it were,
Barely.
finishing that score because we were delivering the film very late. I was determined not to put him through the same experience on Return of the King. I was going to try not to anyway. It's always hard to predict these things. So I suggested to Howard, look, you know, Return of the King is in a really rough shape. Why don't you come down to New Zealand and just have a look at Return of the King? We can show you what we've got, you know, months and months ahead of time.
In the first film, Howard went out, made several trips, spent a month there working on themes. And we didn't get a chance to do that in the second film.
There's nothing like actually seeing the film and sitting in the same theater with the filmmakers and having discussions afterwards about it.
We were quite lucky to have Howard Shore down in New Zealand, and one added benefit to that was that he was around when we were shooting some of the pickups for film 3.
He actually went on set.
So he came back for... Really? Where?
So it's
is that him? That is so funny. That can't be him. Is that him with the wig? Wow, he looks so different.
Wow. Psychologically, it was really good.
I think
for Howard and for the filmmakers.
You need to give me a
to have
wig.
Howard come out to New Zealand, spend time, get back.
You look like a completely different person.
You could see the size of Return of the King was just enormous. The epic scope of it was incredible, and the emotion of it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in this film, and it is a long film in terms of number of minutes. You know, there's a lot of score. You know, maybe 80% of the film is scored. So there was a lot of material that Howard had to write for.
But he's been brilliant at working, developing themes and continuing to develop them from film to film.
And give you a taste of something, just a taste in one part of one film, and then to actually really hear the theme in earnest in the next one.
Right.
The third film is full of thematic materials that were hinted at earlier, set up particularly in Fellowship.
There's a scene in Council of Elrond where Boromir stands up and talks about his father.
Yeah. That is Ned Stark.
It's a solo French horn, and you hear what then becomes the Gondor theme and the central theme in Return of the King.
It's all about arriving at Gondor. That is the big theme in film 3. The first real great presentation of it is the lighting of the beacons.
It's a bringing together of the cultures of men to defend themselves against the forces of evil. So it's a really historic moment in Middle-earth.
It's that thing that the movies sometimes can do better than books. You know, you're not using words.
That's true.
Music and film.
It's very true.
And when we heard it on the stage, we all kind of knew, yep, no more discussion here. Can we have a lot more of it, please?
To me, that was the most effective scene in some way, even though it really wasn't a scene between people, only indirectly. From Pippin's hand, you know, lighting this, and eventually Aragorn taking it in.
Too good.
My feeling with Shelob was that I wanted it to feel
Nope,
very
we don't need to
Lord
see
of the
it.
Rings. Like I said to Howard, listen, for Shelob, why don't you go back to the old Cronenberg films? Because Howard's written the music for just about everything that David Cronenberg's ever made.
Oh, okay.
I said to Howard, listen, let's have some of that stuff. This should be like The Fly.
Oh, The Fly. Remember that movie? Lord have mercy. That movie terrified me. It just brought tears to my eyes just thinking about it. Oh my God, when he came out of that freaking cocoon or whatever.
Within our film, a separate piece. Like once you entered
Scared the hell out of me.
Shelob,
As a kid.
you were in an entirely different world.
Yeah,
It should be maybe a little bit more electronic sounding. Not that we'd use electronics in creating it, but we could make it sound a little bit more unearthly and not the orchestral feeling of the rest of the film.
I didn't even notice the music when I was watching this the first time, so I'm gonna really appreciate it. I mean, I noticed the music. I didn't notice the music for the Sheila part because I was so it was just
a lot of dissonance.
Too much.
Two
That
notes,
spider.
very similar in pitch, being played together.
That beast spider. It was just too scary.
I just think it's just how short is best. It really turns your skin.
Okay.
There's something that's interesting when you're making movies, which is like playing against the expectation.
Howard had this great knack of bringing in a soloist voice, a bare voice, without the major orchestra, juxtaposed against the frenetic visual action on screen.
Oh, I didn't really? A single voice? I never noticed that. Oh, yeah, I noticed that. Okay.
We'll look for them.
When you put it that way.
There's two of them in Return of
Yeah.
the King. There's a scene towards the end of the film where Gollum finally has the ring, and you hear the solo voice of Renee Fleming.
Are you telling me there's no music with her? That's just her voice? Come on. That's just her voice? There has to be look, it's like
Aside
depth
from being an incredible
to
artist,
it.
Renee was a lot of fun to work with. She was proud of herself. She said, well, Howard, I can sing, Italian, Spanish, English, German, and now in Elvish. There's nothing that we as humans respond to better than the human voice.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's doing to you, but I believe it has the effect of making a connection, a human connection.
Her voice
An emotional
itself is so rich.
And it makes the
It
scene
felt
really
like
powerful.
it was accompanied by something, like a violin. You know what I mean?
Pippin's song was something that was devised while we were shooting the film. There was originally in our script no song there. It was just going to be dialogue and looks and done with the cutting and the music.
Interesting.
But Philippa Boyens had gone out partying with the actors one night.
They decided they were going to do some karaoke.
Look at you
And it was
partying.
that
That's my type of party too.
dinner
Karaoke, let's do it.
that I actually heard some of the actors singing. It was the very first time really that I'd heard Billy sing. I'd heard him sing the Scottish national anthem at Elijah's Thanksgiving party in Queenstown.
Oh,
But
nice.
and I thought, wow, that's a good voice. But then when I heard him doing Delilah, I think it was, I thought, wow, this guy can really sing.
Oh, look at that.
I'd always wanted to use the line from the book where Denethor asks Pippin for a song.
Can you sing, Master Hobbit?
I said to Fran, do you want to do the song? What are we going to do about Billy's song? And she said, she just couldn't. She didn't have time.
Yeah.
She said, you write something, which was really funny because I'm practically tone deaf.
Pete
Oh,
asked me
really?
if I could write something. I said, well, yeah,
Oh, you
I'll have a
wrote
go.
it? Stop.
They gave me what they wanted the words to be, which is a poem from the Fellowship.
And he said, when? And I said, well, you're shooting it tomorrow. I think it was.
Oh my
He
God.
had a day, maybe 2
You
days.
guys,
So
these
I kind of thought
time
about
limits are
what
just
type of song it
unreasonable.
would be. Looking at the words and where he is,
Good
I just
for
thought a
you.
song that he's probably had his grandfather sing.
Billy boy.
This came from when the hobbits were looking for the Shire.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a few melodies.
He came onto the set that day
How-
and no one had heard it. And then he opened his mouth and this glorious thing came out.
Through shadows to the edge of night, until the stars are all alight. Cloud and shade shall fade. All shall fade.
Just knowing the
And
story
I just
behind
finished the song
that
and I was a bit sort of, you know,
adds so
a little
many
bit
more
deep,
layers
be
to
honest.
it.
And then afterwards, people had told me they'd been crying and stuff, which is, you know, kind of
So many more impressive layers to it. You know what I mean? To know that he did that crunch time just out of the blue, on top of already having to learn his lines, and
only a matter of
can't.
days
It's just too much.
before we actually shot the scene.
It's
And
just
we
too
got to
much, quite
record it
frankly.
in Abbey Road Studios in London. That was just a
Good for
huge
you.
highlight in my career. Oh,
Yeah, because what? Like, not only do you need to learn a new song, you need to write it
performances, and so I just wrote around
in 2 days.
which I kind of like to do. I mean, I wrote pieces that kind of shape their
I'm done.
vocals. In Billy's case, he's solo.
It just doesn't end.
And then the orchestra comes in when you see the riders approaching Osgiliath.
It's very interesting. It feels like they're doing it deliberately to just place them in these situations where it's like thrown into the deep end, swim. Because what? Who would have thought that was going to happen? Like, that wasn't what he signed
Instead
up
of,
for, and he just did it.
battle scene, you have the juxtaposition
I love
of this
that.
beautiful, haunting melody that Billy created and sings, and Howard supported with very simple underpinnings of orchestra growing out of it.
Yeah. That is
It's a moment in the film
that's wonderful.
that builds
They build off
new
of what
respect
he
for
came up
rhythm
with, and
gives
Howard Short
you
made a whole
a shiver down your spine.
song around it,
and
and
it really
yeah.
works.
I am just,
Fran and Philippa came to me. I think it was for the Two Towers.
I am in love
hookups
with
around that
these
time.
the
And that they had
videos.
this idea, they'd written
Like,
this
what
song
in
that
the
they
world?
wanted me to sing it and record it.
And the idea was that was going to be a piece to be created for Arwen to sing during her scene, her vision of having a child with Aragorn, confronting Elrond.
Ultimately, the scene didn't get used in Two Towers. It was one of those scenes that sort of got pushed to Return of the King.
Oh, was it?
And so therefore
Okay.
the song got pushed with it. So when it came time to look at Return of the King, and we started really concentrating on that scene, on the song, it didn't seem like the right thing to do for the scene, because it seems strange that you're hearing Liv's voice when you're seeing her pictures and she's looking at her son. Somehow the song and what we were trying to convey with the scene didn't kind of gel.
Okay.
Ultimately, for that scene, we wrote a piece called Twilight and Shadow, and that's sung by Renee Fleming.
Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting.
So as a result, we
Very
had this great
interesting.
song sung by Liv Tyler, and no place to put it in the theatrical version of the film.
And it was quite difficult for me because I'd already told a lot of people about
Oh
it.
no.
So I was so embarrassed.
Don't be
that it
embarrassed.
actually didn't end up in the film.
And it wasn't until we were getting to the extended cut that Peter and Fran realized, hey, you know what? A great place for this now is actually Houses of Feeling.
Oh, you sound good. Go ahead, Liv Tyler. Oh, she sounds really good, huh? I would never have known that was her until
lyric
they said
line
it.
which Fran wrote, even though it was originally written for Arwen and Aragorn, it's the same thing. It is about someone who must come back from the depths of despair if they are to endure and to keep going.
It's such a great idea because it connects the two women. It connects Arwen to Éowyn, and their connection is Aragorn and their love for Aragorn.
And it's also
Yeah.
his platonic love for Éowyn. It really brought that whole story together in a very lovely way.
I think that my real dream inside of myself has always been to be a singer. So it was just,
Oh, really?
really fun. Another tool for me to learn while making The Lord of the Rings.
Aw.
The coronation scene, obviously, we've been building up to it. Viggo has got a powerful scene. When you open that, he sings this very emotional, natural way.
I thought, is it going to seem really weird that Aragorn basically bursts into a song?
The moment of his crowning.
I don't remember him singing. What?
He wanted to do more than that, and I think it was a good instinct, and I think he did it really well.
Oh, I don't remember. I do not remember that at all. And that actually happened, right?
Aragorn, just as it happens in the book, repeats the words that were spoken by his ancestor, Elendil, when he first came to Middle-earth, by saying essentially, to Middle-earth I am come, in this place will I dwell, and my heirs until the ending of time. Aragorn is acknowledging the past and making a promise for the future in celebrating the present.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of what Tolkien's doing overall in his story.
Very interesting.
The song for the end of Return of the King is very important. It's the song that sees the trilogy out. And it has to also hold the mood and the feeling and the emotion of the end of the film.
I met with Fran one day and I said, let's think about who our top artists are. You know, who would we want to work with on the last film? And Annie Lennox was on the top of both of our lists.
It was always the way that Annie can take all the trimmings away and just project this sheer emotional power, and it was something that Fran was really attracted to.
Howard got some text from Tolkien, and just to start somewhere, and created a beautiful melody called You Swell the Days.
Peter didn't feel that was the ending of the movie. There was a certain expression, beautiful as it is, he said, that's not the ending piece. And I thought, okay, well, we're going to write it another one. So we started going at the writing.
A big part of the influence and the personal experience with Fran that informed the lyrics on Into the West. There's a young New Zealand filmmaker named Cameron Duncan, who was a friend of Peter and Fran's, that they had encouraged and nurtured, and he had a terminal illness and unfortunately passed away while we were finishing Return of the King. We hear a strain of Into the West in Minas Tirith, beautiful scene with Gandalf and Pippin when they think all hope is lost.
Didn't think of it in this way.
I love this scene.
Yes, it's just another bomb. And you hear the chorus of Into the West.
Look at his eyes. My goodness.
And it's interesting. I didn't really realize it until like the second or third time I saw the movie, but that theme plays over pretty much any reference to death in the film. So it really becomes a very important element in the movie, or certainly became one.
Across the sea, a pale moon rises, light on the water, creation.
We set out to make the best movie that we could, and to have the acclaim that it's had is just gratifying. It's amazing, really.
I'm sure when Howard Shore said yes to Lord of the Rings, you know, he probably couldn't visualize what it really meant in terms of, you know, 3 theatrical films as well as the extended cuts. And in the end, you know, it became a yearly, around-the-year process for him.
When I'm finished everything, you know, with the extended cut of Return of the King, it'll be 4 years. We were generating enormous amounts of material.
I love conductors. They like such a commanding presence, right?
3 recordings, you know, for the 3 films.
Look at his face. Yeah.
You know, the last day we recorded at Watford was our last day at basically the place that we did the majority of our scoring, and that was very emotional for us. This is it. This is our last
time from Watford.
Watford experience Lord of the Rings.
Goodbye to Watford. Wow. It's a sort of the end of an era.
We also did a photo with the whole group, the orchestra, and everybody, the whole crew.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great.
Howard doesn't want to leave Middle-earth.
Okay.
And I say that lovingly.
Me either. Like, who does?
Now there's a Lord of the Rings symphony that is being played around the world by different orchestras.
The Symphony
What?
is a 2-hour piece created from the 12 hours of music created for Lord of the Rings.
What?
It's just fun, just for the sheer joy of just playing music
Yeah.
live without any restrictions of the timings of the film and no recording studio and there's no microphones or anything. I think doing the concert still keeps you kind of in touch with it. It keeps you sort of part of it.
He is so completely invested himself in a way that I don't know that anybody else would have. I don't know that anybody else could have, not the way that he did.
I'm not interested in it being over. And in a way, I wish there was more time to do it. I mean, if you said to me, well, we had a few more years to work on Return of the King, I'd say, great.
Yeah. And you can see it. You can see. Yeah, I heard that. We saw his face like, Listen, okay, that was the end of that one. We're moving on to the next video. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here real quick and do a real quick outro before I get into the next one. This one's gonna be Soundscapes of Middle Earth. I thought we were gonna be talking about the crunch time and how much time it took to get, to do all the scores and, trying to do it at the same time. It's still editing. That might be Soundscapes, but we'll see. But I love this video. And I realized that one of the reasons why I love the appendices, and particularly this one, is because nobody is holding back their emotion, right? Nobody is holding back their passion. Nobody is holding back the fact that they are in love with their particular part of the projects, and they're in love with the music. They're in love with the process. They're just in love, and it's palpable. It's leaping off the screen. I feel it, and it's like I feel validated in my own emotion because I'm a hypersensitive person, so I never really know if I'm like going too far. You know what I mean? But to see other people feel the same way, I'm like, okay. I mean, for them to love it so much that there is an actual Lord of the Rings symphony. I don't know if it's still playing, probably not, but at the time, for them to just be going around just playing the music. And did you see that the place that they were in was full of people? So people are literally buying tickets just to sit and listen to the live music. That really touches me because you have to really be aware of like the special place in your heart in order to allow that type of experience into your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, to actually pay to go and to get dressed up and to go and just be amongst other people who are open in that way, who are welcoming of that love in that way, who want that type of experience. Like, it's a spiritual experience, right? I can only imagine. Just that little snippet had me feeling like it's something that I would have loved to have been a part of, to just be in the audience and to just listen to. So yeah, it really, I don't even know. I don't even have the words. It did leave me speechless. Like, it stunned me, the fact that they have this symphony, or had this symphony. I wonder if any of you actually went to listen. Because I do know that a lot of you who are still watching are really, you get it. You are really fans of Lord of the Rings. You're fans of the appendices. You're fans of everything. You have, a number of you guys have left comments about all of the Lord of the Rings merch that you have. You know what I mean? About your particular story, of your first introduction to Lord of the Rings, whether it was reading it first or just going to the opening night. So there's something there, right? There's something extra there. I just don't know. I saw a meme of someone who had a t-shirt on and it said introverted but willing to discuss Lord of the Rings. I was like, I need that shirt. Because because I'm an introvert as well, but I'm like, just watching this, it feels like I'm blossoming into a whole other character because this is just, I feel like I have found my people. You know what I mean? Just found my place. I love it. I really do. I've been reacting to these things. People keep leaving comments like, you're still reacting to this after a year. And that's just because I didn't expect to be so blown away. Anybody who's watched these appendices know that this is incredible. It's incredible work of art. Okay. And I do know as a YouTube reactor, it is better to move on to something else and to react to new movies and new TV shows and all of that. For the sake of growing the audience and all, you know, all of that. But for me, I didn't really have time to do all of these different things. So it's like, I'm going to watch these appendices. So I might as well press record and, you know, so other people can have that experience, because I'm sure not a lot of people are going to do that, but it's like just the nostalgia for you guys, because these appendices are wonderful, quite frankly. Anyway, I'm just talking away. Let me get into the next video. All right, you guys. I'll see you again soon. Okay, thanks for joining me. Until next time, let's flow.